Alright, so in this video, I'm cutting the quarter off. And maybe the outer wheel well, see how far I can get. But if you see, I put everything back together. It's kind of futzing around with the fit and finish of the quarter panel on this side, and it's pretty good for the most part. Typical areas where people seem to have a problem are this corner here. I think to get it to go in, I'm going to have to slice down there, push it in, and re-weld it. And same thing with this gap down in here. Yeah. That's something I gotta deal with later. I mean, it's funny, the camera makes it look worse than what it really is, but, yeah. Anyways, let's get to the getting. So yeah, one of the things I could do that quarter panel down there, I want to explain before I go cut off the other one. The original factory one, say where the tail panel meets in there, it's kind of like, you got the, how can I draw here? The outside portion goes like that. That's the quarter panel outside. And here's where the tail panel is. Let's call it that. Well, the problem is this joint here, with the quarter to the tail panel, the factory looks like this. It's got like it's nice 90 degree shape, 90 degree shape roughly, where the AMD panel is more like this, going around. So that's what gives you a big gap. So I'm thinking about this when I go to do the fit and finish work, this slicing here and bringing that angle over. So all right, that's what I was thinking of doing. We'll see if it works. All right, time to go start getting earplugs in and cutting off the quarter panel. So what I'm going to do is cut it off from here, down along the line, along the side here, and then up along here, and then across here, all the way across, just right below the where the line of lead is. Alright, enjoy the YouTube video. As you can see down there, the reason why I'm replacing quarter, you got all that rust there, all the rust down in there, another layer of patch. The channels were rusted down in here, and the same thing with the outer wheel well. It's all rusted down in the corner where it meets the rocker panel and around the rocker panel. And I mean, I probably could patch it, probably save you a lot of time, but I had the new stuff, so I might as well just use the new stuff. Yeah, so as you can see on the else too, on the driver's side quarter here, or a passenger side quarter, so you work on the driver's side. You can see multi-layer stack of metal again, plate rusted out, all that stuff was rusted out down in there, and even up around the wheel well a little bit, where I cut it, you can see it down there. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I'm replacing all the sheet metal, because it was just shoddy work before. So yeah, I guess I get to the nitpicky stuff. So I have the ceiling fan on. Doors are open. It's a little windy today, so let's clear out some lead. So after all the heating, scraping, melting of the lead, there's something like 20 freaking spot welds they put in here. So yeah, that's up next, is taking all that stuff out. Get my spot weld cutter, get down in here, clean some of that gunk and crap out that they have in there from the factory, which is seam sealer and stuff. And then work my way down, getting all that stuff out. In case you're wondering why I decided to take the quarter panel off on this side, it's well because the lower deck door panel is going to get replaced for a couple things. One, it's pretty rusted across the back there where the glass goes. And then down in here, I guess you can't really see it. Let's see if we zoom in on it. It's, yeah, there we go. Pretty cracked out. You know, it just needs to be replaced. And the best way to do it is with both quarter panels off. But before I take this out, since it's all kind of locked in place, I'm gonna get the wheel wells, inner outer wheel wells done, because that will lock the trunk floor into place too, and won't spread this thing apart. So yeah, let me get back to the drilling out of spot welds. After a few, probably 100 or so spot welds all the way around, finally got that quarter panel off. Yeah, bit of work as usual. Punch in there, punch around where the door jamb is, and take a look at this stuff here. Got a little rust. That's been there for a while. You can tell by how the color of the rust is, how like dark it is. It's been collecting for quite a few years, obviously. What thing happened was up in the front of the windshield, up front there was a big hole, and the water just was running down through the channel, down into there, and just sitting because it had nowhere to go and rusting out. Probably gonna end up remaking that piece there and just, you know, graft it in a little bit, because this thing's pretty much crashed. So yeah, I guess that'll be on the next thing. Will be removing this outer wheel well. Before I decided to cut this out, I'm like, let me try fitting the passenger side trunk drop-off panel, and if it's okay. I just was kind of curious to see how much better or more accurate I can get the location for this with the original wheel well in place. And it exactly fell in the same spot, damn near exactly as the driver's side. Mostly because when you put the outer wheelhouse on, you got an alignment hole there, and an alignment hole down in the front, just, you know, behind the door. But anyways, here's another example of why I'm replacing all this shit. You got booger weld there, looks like. You got a fiberglass patch, you got a pop riveted patch, then there's another piece of metal, and then another piece of metal on top of that with a crap load of fiberglass filler. So yeah, needless to say, hopefully whoever did this originally killed themselves. Because it's just horrible. Like, you know, just like, yeah. Alright, time to cut this thing out. So after I guess a good hour or so hammering, banging, cutting, grinding, touching up some welds where I went through with the panel splitter I got, there you go. Yeah, it's a pain, but it's gonna be hopefully worth it in the end. All right, we're gonna go downstairs in the basement, grab the other wheelhouse, and bring it on up and give it a good old test fit. Starting to locate the outer wheelhouse, and as you can see, it's just like the other side here. Let's get down in here. Yeah, so there we go. That's the alignment hole I was talking about. On the outside, don't look too bad, but on the inside, there we go. So I'm gonna, come on. Yep, I seem to have it go down a little bit. I guess about another 1/16 of an inch. But just like on the passenger side, I'm gonna have to put a couple slices down in there and let this slide in a little bit. Like I said, when I put the brace in on the inner rocker there, it doesn't allow it to crush or have this. There we go. Have this move along with the outer wheel well. So pop that back out, put a couple slices in there, and put it back in. And then you can see, just putting that slice in there, allow that to go down in and get where it needed to be for that particular alignment hole. Yeah, I welded it out a little bit, but it's pretty centered. So nut and bolt that, and then a big clamp up on here, nut and bolt the back there, that way so it doesn't move. Then lay out a hole over your hitch and drill some holes to hold this guy in. There you go, all the holes drilled, except for I gotta take it off and drill the holes behind here, lay them out onto the wheel well. Then what I did on the other side, I drilled a hole, a 1-inch hole down in here. I was able to back drill through and weld it through the other side. So yeah, that's locating a wheel well in a nutshell. So I guess next step for me is getting down in there and screwing that in and getting that tack welded up, and that way I can make the splice back like I did on the other side. All right, before I went and got too crazy and start welding everything in, I went downstairs and got the passenger side rear quarter panel, and it actually plopped on pretty good. I took some measurements beforehand for like where the door goes back into place. Man, don't mind the dead in there, I gotta fix that. And the gap along the bottom of the door is pretty good. I mean, it was lined up to the original quarter panel. So it actually went back right in the same exact spot. Makes my job a lot easier. That fit down in there pretty good and all that. Yeah, I said, this is just test fit, nothing's screwed or anything in place like the other side kind of is. But the big reason why I wanted to was to see how the wheel well fit up inside here before I go snap it into place with the spicy hot metal glue gun. So the wheel looks pretty good. But the thing I was concerned about was back up in here. I had to put a little splice down in there, get the slide over and in, and believe it or not, I actually located the trunk drop off to the original outer trunk outer trunk, the outer wheelhouse, and it was too far forward, so that's why maybe go get the wheel well. And as you can see, fits in there pretty good. There, yep, there we go. So everything's clamped in place, looks pretty good. And luckily, I mean, there's a little bit of a gap here, but it closes up when you clamp it up, so I don't have to do a repair like I did on the other side. So all right, let me take this quarter panel off, take off the outer wheelhouse, and then get to welding it on. One of the things I did before I took this off was right here, where the outer rocker is and the inner rockers and all that stuff are, I took scratch all and scratched off where it kind of fits roughly. So I can actually measure from here. Here, let me highlight it for you guys. It kind of goes there like that, and there's another one over here for the little flange that goes down on the rocker on the outer, rocker on the inside. So we'll measure that, and I forgot to scratch in the bottom there. Just fine, not a big deal. I can always go back and later, well, come back through and drill it just by taking measurements. But for now, to get this down in here or transfer there, we got the upper part. Go measure this, which is from the upper radius, or the upper bend is about 1 inch, and then 1/6 all the way down. So this shows this to be 1 inch from that radius, it's there, and then it's about 1/6 all the way down to that outer tab. It doesn't move on me. So this shows me it's going to be kind of like this. Match that angle very loosely, and then it's about there. Let's come across, and then this gets split right there. So now I kind of roughly know where that one is, and this tab there on closer to the inside of the car, from the scratch mark down roughly is 900 thousandths. So come down to there, mark 900. There's that tab, and I can probably measure down from here. Give me a rough idea. It's 1.5 inches to 3.3 from the upper one. So we'll call it 1.5 inches. I'll shoot my glasses. Just want to. And then 3.3. 2.5. I get shit all the time. Just more 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. Oops. I know how to rescale. And that looks to be, as wide as this. There. And happens to be about 1.5 wide total. I think a pretty big area down here to hit up for a weld. So here's going to get 1. Down here is going to get 2, and then we'll just do 1 in here. That's just enough to weld this down here. Just drill them holes, and then grind off the backside to where the EDP coating is, and get ready for it to be welded in. Perfect. All right, gonna put my earplugs in, turn some music on, and get to grinding, or get to cleaning the. Alright, with some time's passed, get the stuff dry, time to screw it on and get the welding. Do the trick that I learned off the Vinyl Village Garage. Screw it in every other hole, open up with a 1/4 inch, just get the down bare metal, and then sap it in with the metal glue gun. Enjoy. As you saw in the time lapse, the outer wheelhouse is in. I got the trunk, the drop off located a little bit so I know where it goes. Make sure there ain't no pending issues. And it's time to do the inner wheel tub. I think I'm gonna end that video here for this, and then the outer wheel tub or inner wheel tub will be the next video. All right, thanks for watching.